Hey, could you explain in English why you like the 7D 11 forward setup as much as you do?
It depends. Other teams do it. I've done it for 20 years, not every game. I do it once in a while. Many reasons. One is, but you can only do it if you have the right personnel. Do you have enough good defensemen to go with seven? You don't want to go with seven if your seventh one has trouble playing. It's not the idea of having numbers. It's who you have, and so when you've got enough Ds that are good, able to play, first it gives you the possibility of having a specialist of some kind. So sometimes your seventh guy could be a power play guy, something you might be lacking in your top six. Sometimes it's a PK guy, but the idea is that hockey's changed for me, and the Ds are so much more involved than they used to be. There is no clutch and grabbing anymore, so they're really the game takes a toll on them because they're being forechecked, they're being hit harder and faster than before, and they got to go retrieve a lot more pucks than they used to, and so they get tired faster. And the minute you get an injury, the minute you get somebody that's not playing well, the minute you get a penalty, you're down to 5 and sometimes to 4, and they'll survive out there. But I don't want the Ds to survive. I want them to have the intensity to play good for 60 minutes, and that's why you see other teams do it now. You demand a lot on your breakouts of defensemen. Now they jump a lot more than they used to jump into play. You used to have one guy per team that would jump because he'd be your offensive D. Now you're asking that of every defenseman. Same thing on the transition and the forechecks now. The Ds are so involved in forechecks, and you saw Toronto the other day. Their Ds are right in there every time, and that demands a lot. And if you look at it, you've got 4 sets of forwards, but you only have 3 sets of defensemen, but you're asking the same amount of energy from your Ds than you are from the forwards. So that's one way to compensate for that. You look at Europe, they have 4 lines and they have 4 sets of Ds. They play with 22 players there, and that's the reason why. So I think now the game's demanding so much of defensemen that I like to have that extra D. That's one reason concerning the Ds. But on the other hand, I also like to have 11 forwards sometimes because it leaves one hole in your lineup, and you can come back with your top players, which they love because they hate waiting 4 lines to get their turn, and so you keep your top guys active, and you don't always come back with the same guy. You come back with one time you come back with Turris on the 4th line, the other time it's Hoffman, the other time it's Boucher, and the other time, so then you don't really have a 4th line anymore. You have a line now that it's tough to match if you're the opponent, and you see if I take another team, you see Crosby come on the ice on the 4th line. That's not a 4th line anymore, so it's hard to match. You put your top Ds there, and then they're stuck because after that they can't go back out there against the top line. So it's tough to match for the opponent, and it's also a way to improve your 4th line, and the 4th line guys love it because they get to get points and self-esteem and everything else that comes with it. So there's a lot of reasons for it, and those reasons will change. They'll vary from game to game depending on how healthy our guys are, who's available, and the quality of the players. So there's all these reasons are valid depending on the game and the circumstances.
Can you say how often they will go with this? Like
No.
50% of the games, 80%?
I've got no. It could be 10%. It could be 45%. It really depends on the circumstances at that moment. For instance, now, all the reasons I gave you, they're not the reasons why I'm going 11-7 tonight. The reason is because we want to go 7 Ds because we want to continue looking at Shabbat and give him ice time, but we don't want to take ice away from Wideman that also needs to get reps. So tonight, that's the reason why we're doing it. So that's one of the reasons we'll do it. So I can't give you a percentage. The same with the goaltenders. How many games do I want to give him? We'll give him the adequate number of games that he can manage, and our backup Hammond is improving by the day. So the more we can give him, the better rest that Anderson gets. So that's why I hate giving numbers, because the plan is all beautiful, but life happens after the plan all the time. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Anderson all the way tonight?
Yes, yeah. It's game shape. Yesterday we had a tough practice to players. I do it on purpose, just because there's not much time where we can push our guys now. Once it starts on Monday, it's game after game, very little practice time. So the pushing part here of the on ice and game shape is this week. So it's the same for the goaltender, especially him. He's missed, so he needs to get reps, and he needs to, he needs to be pushed right now to get his to get out of his comfort zone, to push his limit on ice. I think our players did the best numbers in years here off ice. So congratulations to them and our off-ice trainers and all that. They've done the job, but that's off-ice. That's the foundation for game shape, and then after the game shape, and then we get into systems and execution and all that. But you need those two foundations, and I think we've done right now in terms of making it tough enough for the players to push their limit before the season starts.
Coach, still a lot of teaching on the ice. Are they where you expect them to be at, or?
They never are. So we'll talk at the last game of the season, and that's the thing about coaching. You always want more, and it's normal. It's you're the one that holds the standard, and I'm the only one in my head. So it's I got a vision, I got a way of doing things, and I know what it's supposed to look like. So right now, I'll be honest, we're at the beginning of it. Like, we're just trying to go as fast as we can, cram in as much as we can before that first game so that we're not lost out there. If, for example, now you got Stone coming back. He hasn't done any power plays, doesn't even know what we're doing. So we get out there for 5-on-3. Now I got to re-explain, and Smitty gets on. He hasn't done reps either. So that's right now. I know where we're going. I'm confident we'll get to where we want to be. But right now, the issue is more we've had big injuries, and we haven't had a lot of reps with our guys. So we're far from what I want. I'm excited though about the steps that we're taking. For me, it's different than what you're going to be watching for. I'm watching for parts of the game to improve, and then there'll be for 10 minutes we're not there, but I know why we're not there. So the next time around, just like yesterday, we're dealing on managing and shielding from defensemen pinching us to be able to manage the puck instead of throwing it around. So we want to manage the puck better. That's the one thing right now from the last game. We didn't manage the puck. We constantly gave it back to the opponent. That's why they were getting momentum, and then they were getting shots, and we were stuck in our zone. We were giving it back to them. It's not like they come in and they control the play. We have it. We give it back, and then we're in trouble. And then we're scrambling, and then we get tired. So we can control that a lot better, and that's the message, and we want to progress that way.
With that in mind, how much are you watching a player like Ryan Dzingel away from the puck?
He's been out of the new guys and everybody. It's clear he's been the best at that. That's why tomorrow I'm going to put him. Oh yeah, definitely. Like, clear. I think that's where his strength is compared to anybody else that's trying to make the team, is without the puck. He's in the right places. He's first on puck. He's blocking shots. He's in the right places defensively. So as an NHL coach going into the first game of the season, you want somebody you can rely on at least to be in the right places, and then we'll grow his game after that. But can we put you on the ice and at least be in the right places and grow after that? That's what's the most important, because NHL is you make one mistake and it's in the back of your net. So Dzingel has been really, really consistent at that. First on puck, blocking shots, right places, really good in a penalty kill. And he's been able to play with top guys because of his speed. He's pushed the play. That's what Brassard needs on his line. Brassard needs a guy to push the play with him. Bobby needs that so that he's at his best, because then he's behind. He can hang around in the right place to score some goals. So that's what we're looking for. So I'm trying Dzingel again there.
Stone is back. Do you have an update on MacArthur?
MacArthur, I know, was feeling good the last 3 days, and I know the other night he was with us. Wednesday night we had the spouses night, had a meal and everything. He was there smiling and everything. So right now we're just thinking person first. So that was good to see. So we'll see after that. We don't have any more updates on that.